Hi guys, thanks for joining. Today I'm going to talk to you about books that I read and movies and TV shows that I watched in the month of January. It's been quite an eventful month, first month of the year, and it was already quite adventurous and eventful. Not just in terms of reading and my hobbies, but in terms of life events, basically things related to jobs. I actually was supposed to do this video a couple of days ago, but I couldn't do it because I was not in the right state of mind. In fact, even now I'm not in the right state of mind. I'm really worried because of situations at work, because as you know, in the tech world, companies are firing people left, right and center. There is news of layoffs every other day, and it's the same case in my company as well. So we are waiting more news about it. Hopefully nothing goes wrong and my job is safe, but still, yeah, you never know, right? So fingers crossed. So that's the situation. So I was not in the right state of mind to do a video, but today I'm like, okay, I have to face things as it comes. you know it's okay, it's not the end of the world. And I love talking to you guys, sharing about what I read and what I watch. I thought that, okay, this will be a great window to take my focus away from all the tension and the negative stuff that's been happening. Enough of rambling and ranting, off to the topic of the video now. First book that I read in the month of January was Babel by R.F. Kuang. I have done an individual separate review video of the same. I actually really liked it. It is dark academy. It's a genre I really like, and I am newly venturing into this genre, and I actually really love it. The genre, I mean. The Babel is a very decent read for any lovers of the genre. I like the atmospheric ambience that R.F. Kuang has built. I definitely felt this was a little bit lacking in terms of we feeling the camaraderie and love and friendship between the members of the posse or the cohort. Let's take Harry Potter. My favorite among all the books of Harry Potter was The Order of the Phoenix, because there is this exam preparation and a lot of discussion about the subjects. And how they prepare for the exam. So I'm kind of nerd for those kind of stuffs. And here also the subjects that the students are learning is discussed in length, and I really liked how R.F. Kuang actually used the method of translation for building her magic system. So I really like that part. I'm kind of disappointed with the ending. It kind of reminded me of the ending of Rang De Basandi, the Amir Khan movie that came out in the early 2000s, I think. Ending kind of felt very similar to that of Rang De Basandi. I wouldn't say it felt unbelievable, but I would have expected something better. I don't know what, because I'm not a writer, but I would have expected a better ending. But overall, this was a very enjoyable read. I love my copy of this book, how it's a very pretty copy. I think I gave this 5-star, but now that I think about it, maybe 4-star or 3.5. It happened so many times that once I finish a book, I rate it 5. After a few days of stewing and thinking about the book, I go back and I'm like, okay, maybe it's not 5, maybe it's a 4.5, maybe it's a 4, maybe it's a 3.5. So that's the case with Babel also for me. I think I will give it a 3.75, but I don't do that. So let's go with 4. Then a book that I took very slow this month, and that's what I do with my non-fiction books. Usually I read one non-fiction per month, and that is Discipline is Destiny by Ryan Holiday. I'm a huge Ryan Holiday fan. I follow his YouTube channel, The Daily Stoic. This is a book about one of the primary 4 principles of Stoicism, which is discipline or temperance. The other 3 are courage, justice, and wisdom. So this month, in February, I'm going to read Courage is Calling, which is about the second Stoic principle. I have annotated it like crazy. I thought I would just read out at least 1 or 2 favorite quotes of mine from this, but I wouldn't do that. I think, this is a nice, powerful read. You should check it out. And it's a very small, short, cute little book. So you should check it out. This is definitely going to be a motivation for you if you're looking for, setting your life a little bit straighter than it is now, to be more focused, to be more disciplined in life, in whether it's your personal life or whether it's your career or mental health or your physical health, everything. So this definitely will help you in being more disciplined in all those aspects of your life. Check it out, guys. A really motivational read. So I'm going through all the physical books that I've been reading. So currently I'm reading this book, which is Warhost of Vastmark by Janie Wirtz. I'm halfway through this book. I actually, you know what, even though I decided to read one book per month, this is part of my read along that I'm hosting on my channel. We have our discussion of this in March. What I was saying was that even though I wanted to read one book per month, I am taking my time with these books because these books have, you know, transformed into something which I am really going to treasure throughout the rest of my life. Not everybody will like it, but this is definitely my kind of read. The main character, Arithon, he has become my new favorite fantasy characters of all time. I'm so invested in his story. I'm so invested in his victory. I'm just rooting for him with all my heart. So I'm halfway through this book. Next up, I read a book called The Family Upstairs by Lisa Joel. Lisa Joel is a very well-known author in the thriller world, and I really like her books. And this one, yeah, I did like it. I gave it a 5-star as per my reading journal here. So because I have written a review in my reading journal, I'm not going to, you know, talk to you. Instead, I would love to read out what I wrote in my reading journal. Maybe that interests you. If not, skip to the next one. Started off the year with a great thriller, an orphaned child, a woman with her young son and daughter, and their lovely dog living in squalor in Algiers. Then the third narrator, whose identity is revealed only towards the second half of the book, all of them carrying a heavy burden of their own. The orphan girl, who is now 25, unexpectedly inherits a huge house or a mansion, and with it comes a whole load of mysteries and revelations about her past. Dark, disturbing, and downright creepy at times, this thriller had me engaged so deeply that I finished it in record speed. Even though the author demanded suspension of belief more than I was comfortable with or I could accept, I could see past that, discounting it as creative liberty on author's part because the characters were believable, and thank heavens that she didn't create an unbelievable, over-the-top, cliched villain. A solid 5 stars thriller. That's what I wrote in my reading journal, and that's The Family Upstairs. So check it out. If you know Lisa Joel, if you have read her other books, you know what to expect. She is really good. But the next book that I read, which is also from Lisa Joel, was kind of disappointing. I gave it a 3-star, which is Watching You. Second book by Lisa Joel that I read this year, a friendly, colorful, and cozy neighborhood, queasy teenagers with their sparkly-eyed teenage crushes, some stalking, some voyeuring, extramarital attractions, abusive marriage, and finally, obviously, a murder. These kind of summarizes this engaging thriller. The first half of the book starts off quite promising, intriguing. However, that faded as the story progressed, and I could easily predict the killer and also an important reveal just as I reached or passed the 70% mark in the book. Although the story had the potential to bloom into a thriller with better reveals, the poor writing made it too predictable. So that's why I gave it 3 stars, because it was kind of predictable. And yet, you know what? Of late, with most of the thrillers, I've been, finding out that I am able to, guess the ending or the murderer or the mystery or the reveal halfway into the book. And I think that's because I've been reading so many thrillers, so many mysteries, that I kind of get the I don't know, I'm able to predict, and that's disappointing to me because I want to be surprised. I mean, what's a good mystery thriller without a great jaw-dropping reveal, right? The next book that I read is A Flicker in the Dark by Stacey Willingham. So if you're a fan of, again, like Lisa Joel or Karen Slaughter, you're going to love this book. So the story is told from the perspective of Chloe Davis. So this woman, she has a very disturbing past. So while she was growing up as a child in Louisiana, Six teenage girls disappeared in her neighborhood, and her father was arrested for those disappearances of the teenage girls. And basically, that arrest was made because of a discovery that she made of souvenirs that the murderer had picked up from these teenage girls, which she found in her house. So that's how her father was discovered and arrested and convicted and put behind the bars. Years later, decades later, she is now a grown woman. She is a psychologist now. She is engaged to this wonderful man called Daniel, but Daniel's past is murky. Chloe's brother, Cooper, is very unaccepting of Daniel. Cooper thinks that there is something fishy about Daniel and to be careful, but now she's engaged to be married. Daniel is generally wonderful to her. He's very kind and loving and caring towards her. Then what happens is teenage girls start going missing and their bodies are discovered. These two murders actually happened when her fiance Daniel was away for work. Now, again, like I said, I could kind of guess the ending or who the culprit is, because I'm not giving you all the players in this whole story yet, but these are the main players. She is wondering whether this is a copycat who was inspired by her dad's murders in the past, or is it a brand new killer, or is it her husband? So these are the thoughts that's going in her mind, and is she really safe? That was a flicker in the dark. I think I rated it 4 stars, even though I predicted the ending. It did not spoil the experience for me because the writing was so good, the build up towards the reveal was good, and it was kind of satisfying, if that makes sense. You know what? Not 4, maybe I'll give it a 3.5. Yeah, 3.5. I think that's fair. The next book that I read is An Anonymous Girl by Greer Hendricks and Sarah Buchanan. Now, this was a very frustrating read for me. So basically the story is about this makeup artist. Her name is Jessica Faris. She nominates herself into a psychology study, which is led by a doctor called Dr. Shields. There are 2 POVs we get, 2 first-person POVs. One is from Jessica's perspective and one is from the doctor's perspective, Dr. Shields' perspective. Dr. Shield has a very robotic, monotone kind of voice, which was sometimes very condescending and very unenduring. The other perspective is Jessica's. Jessica gets herself nominated into this because the pay is really good and she really needs the money. She's been asked very moral and ethical questions. The questions are really bizarre. It doesn't stop there. She later on gets asked to do or conduct some really weird social exercises, which she's not that comfortable with, like, going to a bar and talking to a stranger, things like that, which didn't kind of make sense. But then as readers, we get Dr. Shields' perspective and her intentions. I didn't quite enjoy this book. It was quite long. It could have been half its length. Anything I say might give the plot away in case you're planning to read. I see very high rating on Goodreads for this book. So it has a rating of 3.81 with 144,640 ratings. So that's a good rating. But for some reason, it didn't work for me. So maybe it's not the same case with you. Maybe you will like it. So I'm not completely discounting it or disregarding it. I would give it a 3 star. So that was An Anonymous Girl by Sarah Buchanan and Greer Hendricks. Currently, I'm reading a book called The Family Game by Catherine Stateman. Now, I have read several books by her, mostly as audiobooks. I think I've mentioned this in a couple of reviews before that, I really hate her narration because it's the author herself who's narrating her books all the time. The story is good. I'm really enjoying it. The build-up and the intrigue, the mystery surrounding the characters in the story is really good. I'm not able to guess anything at all yet. So that's good. It's keeping me on my toes. So story-wise, it's really good. But the narration could have been better, especially because Catherine Stedman, she is British. So she has this strong British accent. And the story is taking place in New York. And all the other characters, including her husband, her would-be in-laws, everybody, they're Americans. She uses British accent for them as well. So that could have been taken care of during the production, I think. Basically, the story is like this. She's an author who has found newfound success. She's on the top of New York's bestseller list and all that. So she has this newfound fame and prosperity and success and all that. And she is now dating this guy, Edward Holbach, and he is part of this very traditional American family, which is like, old money family. And when I talk about old money, just like the Rothschild family or the Trump family, and also they are like super rich. She's invited to several family events that take very bizarre, scary, horror mode kind of turn. Unexpectedly, she gets kind of a message in a tape from her father-in-law, which she listens to, and she realizes she's in deep trouble. Basically, I'll not give anything away because I'm really enjoying it, and I hope that if the book ends well, I want to keep that mystery up for you guys also, that you can pick it up and read if you are a fan of mystery and thrillers. So I'll not give out anything away, but one thing really bothered me about this book is these two people are really rich, right? She is a millionaire now after selling her books, and now engaged to this guy from this Rothschild kind of this super rich, super rich family in America, and they travel in subway. Something doesn't add up. I don't know if the author didn't think about it, or definitely I felt something off there. So there are some things like that didn't match up, or it felt like author did not put in much thought in. So those are the things that is really bothering me with this book currently. And again, the narration also could have been better, obviously. I think Catherine Stedman should go ahead and outsource the I don't know who told her that she can do good narration, but she cannot. Please, no, find a good narrator, and your stories are brilliant. Please get a good narrator and get them to narrate it. Let the professionals handle it. I have another 2 more hours to go in that book, so I'm planning to finish that today. So those are the books that I read this month. About the shows and the movies, I am a huge fan of that 70s show. I mean, Red Foreman and Kitty Foreman, they for the win. They are amazing. I'm glad they are there in that 90s show, which I binge watched in January. Of course, you cannot expect the brilliance of the 70s show again, but I think the makers have put in a great effort to make a good show. I actually really liked some of the episode, especially the last 3 to 4 episodes were really good. So I think that now the crew and the cast, they are getting the sense of the show, they're getting used to each other, and you can see that chemistry building between them, and that's showing in the show as well. I really liked the cameos from the old cast, Mila Kunis and Ashton Kutcher, Topher Grace. It was great to see all of them back. And I also like the fact that Fess is a recurring character now. Fess was one of my favorites from the original show. And that made me, actually watch a couple of episodes from that 70s show also. See, this is my comfort show. There are some comfort show that I go to when I'm down, when I'm bored, when I have nothing else to watch, or when I'm having my dinner. So that 70s show, Friends, Brooklyn Nine-Nine, sometimes Dr. House, all these are shows that I just simply watch. Or Grimm, these are shows that I simply watch. Initially, when I received the news of potential layoffs in the company, I was kind of like really tensed and worried and all that. I was not in the mood to read or watch anything new. So what I did was I went and watched Vampire Diaries, like rewatched Vampire Diaries. I loved the show when I first time watched it, like it now also, mainly because of Damon. Something is wrong with us women, we love twisted, nasty, bad boy vibe men. What's wrong with us? But anyways, I watched it for Damon, and I like Stefan also. So I didn't watch many episodes, but I watched I think I watched season 1. Yeah, that's it. Talking about shows that I rewatched, I watched my favorite TV show ever. I think it is the best TV show ever made by humans ever, which is Lost. I know people have divided opinion about the last season. I don't care. I loved it. I recently watched a review and analysis by Shawnee B. It's a 2-hour analysis video of Lost, and how everything connects together in the last season, and it made so much sense, and I love it even more now. So I watched season 1 and season 2 of Lost last weekend, again because I was not in the mood to watch anything new or anything serious, anything heavy. The characters of Lost are so close to my heart. No other characters of any other show can ever replace the place that those characters have in my heart. Then I watched actually a new show and I binge watched it. It's a new show on Netflix which is Lockwood Co, and oh god, I really liked it. It gave me really nice Harry Potter, Buffy the Vampire Slayer, Vampire Diaries kind of feels. In fact, I'm thinking maybe I should read Lockwood and Co. Maybe binge read it and do a reading vlog for you guys. I love reading light-hearted, low-stake, middle grade books. Yeah, I'm a grown woman. I'm 41 years old now, but who cares? I can still enjoy middle grade if something is entertaining me and taking my mind off serious things in life, then why not, right? If you guys haven't watched it, check it out on Netflix. It's a nice light entertainment. That was a video, guys. I hope you enjoyed it. I'm glad I'm able to make this video despite my mental state right now. Please send me your good wishes, well wishes my way. I really need them. So until next time, this is Angie signing off. I will see you soon. Bye bye.